Hi everybody, Dr. Bill here, and I thought I would dedicate this week's video to all those folks dealing with the flood from Hurricane Harvey here in Houston and surrounding areas, as well as thank all of you who reached out to find out if we were safe. The good news is we were lucky. Water in the street, but not in our house. We have food, we have power, so basically we're just waiting it out. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you've seen on TV, many people were not so fortunate. However, have you seen the resilience in their eyes? Neighbor helping neighbor. Frankly, it's pretty inspiring. So I thought what I would do for those of you outside of Houston is post a video that I have posted a while back on the science of resilience, accessing what I call the resilient brain, because it talks about practicing dealing with small things so that when the big things come up, like a hurricane, we are good at it. We have some way of doing that. So I hope you enjoy the video, and if you have the opportunity to donate to the Red Cross, I hope you will do so. Hi everybody, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 7 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here again to bring you another tip on how to use my Life from the Top of the Mind system to create the life you want. Today I want to look at the concept of resilience. I think it's something we all want, and yet what does it look like? How do you make it happen? More recently, what they've been able to do is look at the science behind this to really understand how people become resilient and how we can become more resilient in our lives. And just like my Life from the Top of the Mind system, it has to do with how the brain processes information. For those of you who've seen my seminars or read my books, we got these 3 parts of the brain, that lower brain, the brainstem, that reactive part. Middle part of the brain, scanner, processor, router part of the brain called the limbic system. Upper 80% of the brain, the neocortex, what I call the top of the mind, where we have access to our interpersonal skills, problem-solving skills, and our resilience. So what they have learned is that when people can build resilience by very purposely reacting to everyday challenges or stressors in a very purposeful way, what that does is actually changes how the brain works, is how the brain is wired. So rather than this middle part of the brain, the limbic system, kind of reacting and sending it down to the brainstem where we get worried or stressed or frustrated or anxious or angry or annoyed or whatever, it says, okay, good information, how do I want to be about this? How do I want to bring to this? How do I want to deal with this? For me, there are 4 what I call neocortex questions or criterias. I call them the 4 criteria that I think can help us with this question. Number 1, am I reacting to this situation on purpose? Have I decided to do this, or did I just find myself feeling this way? Number 2, how's it working for me? Is it helping me create the life I want? Is it effective? Number 3, is this how I want to be defined? Do I want to define myself as someone who reacts to certain people or situations in this way? And number 4, would I teach and or recommend this reaction to someone I love? Because I think when we can use this upper 80% awareness, this clarity from the upper 80% of the brain to say, okay, maybe I'm not doing this on purpose, it's not working for me, it's not how I want to be defined, and no, I would never recommend this to someone I love. We can use this same criteria to say, okay, what if I were responding to this situation on purpose, in a more resilient way, in a way that's more effective, in a way that does define me? I would like to define myself as someone who responds to difficult people, difficult situations in this way, and in a way I would recommend to someone I love. Once we have this clarity, remember we were talking about clarity, confidence, creativity. Once we have this clarity, we can begin to use life versus life using us. We can begin to practice creating what I call a resilient brain, where this limbic system is seeing life as an opportunity to define who we are in a way we would recommend to those we love, and we practice that. We practice that in the morning. We practice that with our kids. We practice that in traffic. We practice it at work or school. We reboot around the middle of the day. We practice it in the afternoon. We reboot about before we go home. We practice it in the evening. Anything we practice, we'll get good at. The problem is we've just been practicing things that we really don't want to be good at, i.e. this overreactive way. So the way to build resilience, The way to understand the science behind resilience is to understand we want to create this resilient brain. And what studies have shown is that when we practice this in small areas, traffic and certain different types of people, we build this resilience. It's kind of like a muscle. And eventually what that allows us to do is react and respond to more problematic situations that aren't just minor inconveniences, but really issues that we want to be able to respond to more purposefully in this more purposeful neocortex, top of the mind way. Matter of fact, there is a wonderful magazine that has come out recently by Time, kind of a special edition, called The Science of Happiness. And in here, they go into the importance of resilience. They talk about mindfulness as a way of building resilience, because mindfulness, frankly, is just purposefulness. They talk about a certain guiding set of beliefs as a way of building resilience and giving meaning to life in this very purposeful way. So all the things that I talk about in my book, in my seminars, that clarity, that confidence, the creativity using mindfulness, neuroscience, so you understand how the brain works, and that cognitive science, those beliefs that drive our life, all of that is now being kind of proven by science and MRIs and brain research as this is exactly what it's all about. So if this is something you want to get good at, I would encourage you to begin to practice. Life is going to give us plenty of opportunities to practice. And if you want me to help you, either with your organization or you as an individual, all you got to do is go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, hit the contact button, let me know what you're interested in, or you could get the book, Life from the Top of the Mind. It is a manual for how to build resilience in your life and how to train your brain to actually deal with life in a way that you would recommend to someone you love. This is what I love to do, so feel free to contact me, let me know. And by the way, if you're loving these videos, please hit the like button, share them with your friends. You know how that makes a difference in terms of how people are able to use this material. In the meantime, here's to you bringing more clarity about what's important to you, how you would define yourself in a way that you would teach to someone you love. More clarity about what part of the brain you're coming from. More clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.